Hi, chess fans. This is a round three game from the 2024 Candidates Tournament in Toronto, Canada. Praggnanandhaa versus Vidit, or Vidit versus Praggnanandhaa. Vidit had the white pieces, and Praggnanandhaa was able to pull off a victory here. What I'm bringing you today is this is where the game ended. This is where Vidit decided, okay, he's got me. And I remember playing in a lot of tournaments, especially when I was first playing tournaments, and two really strong players would resign, and I would be a little bit disappointed because I was like, okay, but I want to see how you finish it. I want to see the technique. So what I'm bringing you today is um, my analysis, some computer help to get the most accurate of how Black would bring this home without making any mistakes. So here we go. Um, this was the I think this was the position where the resignation happened. But let's just say that White decided to play on. Best move for Black now would be to trade one of the sets of rooks, and you can do that by immediately checking. Okay, get these rooks off the board, and of course that's a good move there for White to try to bring the king closer to the action, to try to stop the black pawns from advancing. I guess that's what White's only hope would be. Okay, so first move for Black would be to go after that pawn. And of course, now White wants to um, go after the a6 pawn. Um, Black has time, patience. Black would rather keep three against one than have two against zero, I think, because I think he realizes that the three against zero um, is likely to be able to happen if you take your time and have some patience here. So after this move, White's rook is kind of tied to that defending that pawn and doesn't have a lot of options. So what would Black do in a situation like this? Put the rook here, completely blocking the king off from coming in and helping defend this position. Now White has to move, and it has to go somewhere. So this might be the best the best bad square for White. You got to do something. Now notice Black is not rushing to push pawns up and maybe trade pawns or overextend a pawn. It just slowly is not in any danger. Let's just try to build a position. Build a position. Um, after after here, now Black decides, okay, now is a good time to push one of the pawns, and maybe you're going to be able to get to push the c pawn as well, and then those two pawns are connected and very strong. White wants to make some complications. So again, if the d pawn gets pushed, White loses. If the d pawn gets pushed, Black will lose his rook. So he got to do this to again solidify the position. And again, it looks like White doesn't have many options, and that's kind of what Black is doing, just kind of suffocating White. So moving over here, maybe for lack of better something better to do. And now again, Black has that king completely blocked off, and again White has to move. So what does he do here? Now this was interesting. The computer recommended this move. I thought that the computer would say, okay, let's move the king forward, but I think if the king did move forward, the rook might come up and check. But anyway, this is one of those positions where I look at a computer move and I'm gonna go with it, and because they do see a little bit deeper into the position, and maybe after a few moves we start to see, oh yeah, that's why the computer did that. So let's see. So White has to make a king move, or or he will lose that pawn, because if he makes a rook move, um, the pawn on b4 will fall, and then it's three pawns against zero pawns. So Black finally plays this move here. And again, if the pawn moves to take it, then um, white loses the rook on a4. So rook down here, and white is saying, well, I guess you can have that pawn. Takes it, and now, of course, it's the 3 against 0. King coming up here to, I guess, to try to, well, it's not really threatening the rook because the rook is defended, but if black decided to move that pawn, then it would be. So black in this position, again, loads of time. You're not in any kind of a big panic. White's got to go somewhere, moves here, and look at this, just slowly marching up the board. Now, this is an interesting part that I found with the computer, that playing this move here first, and then letting white have it. So now it's a 2 against it's 2 pawns, but look at how far advanced the b pawn is now. So that the computer is kind of saying, oh yeah, well, it's advanced enough. Now I can give up one of my other pawns because that one's going to become a queen. But what was really interesting? The computer says it's okay to let go of your to give up your rook right now. You're still going to win, right? And oh yeah, that makes sense. So if you play this move, you're giving away your rook, but you get a queen back with check. And I just play a few of the moves here and show you one of the kind of the pitfalls here. King attacks the rook, and if you come over here now to try to win the a3 pawn, you've got this nice fork check, and wherever the king goes, you're picking up that rook, right? So that's just one example line of why it's still winning. But however, I don't recommend living that dangerously. So if this were me in the ending, I would not do that. I would play this move, and look at how everything is just coordinated. Sure, you're not blocking that king off anymore, but look at this. This pawn is going to become a queen. So check, go and attack the rook, and then allowing a take here. And now there's no more checks, and you've got now a queen and a rook against a rook. And let's say white plays here. Do you know what I would do? I would just sacrifice. And now I suggest that if you're not really comfortable with this checkmate, that you go watch my video on rook and king checkmate. But if not, this is fine. If you're up a whole rook, sacrifice your queen, so he's left with nothing, just left with a king, right? So I hope you enjoyed this analysis. I'm super excited about the candidates in Toronto, and I hope you're taking in the games, and yeah, it's really really special to be to have the candidates in Toronto. So thanks for watching, everyone.